Hello everyone. I'm going to create one COVID slot notifier on COVID-19 vaccines available in my near pin code. And once it is available, I'll be getting the email notification. So as let us quickly check at which particular location if any vaccine is available or not in the COVID app. Let us see check in the Bangalore. All slots are either for 45 plus or 18 plus, both are booked. And once you don't know when it will be available, and once it is available, uh, people are already have registered with some so many portals, and they will get the notification and they can book the immediately. So I thought of creating this my own just for the knowledge purpose. So let us check quickly for which any pin code if it is available. I can show you a quick demo what I have as of now created. Then we'll go by the code side whatever I have um, developed. So let me quickly check in my hometown if it is available. I can see these are the available slots. Just for the demo purpose, I'll be registering for uh, available slots for 18 plus at this particular pin code. So let us quickly jump to my UI which I have created, which is this. So this is the, as of now, it is running on a local host. It is in my local environment, and let us enter the email ID where you want to get notified. This is my email ID where I want to get notified for this pin code for which for the age of 18 plus. Um, so it is saying that I'm registered on this particular pin code for 18 plus age, and I'll be getting notification on my particular email ID. As we have already seen that there were some slots available for 18 plus, I should be I should have got the email from the server. So let us check email. As you can see, vaccine slot available at pin code 229306. If you go inside, you can get the uh, details like what is the vaccine name available for which age group, what are the total vaccines available, what is the dose 1 availability and dose 2 availability at which particular uh, location, and on what date it is available. So like that you can see all details here, and you can visit the Cowin website to book the appointment immediately. um, so that's it guys. Let us quickly jump to uh, UI side. There will be two parts for this particular demo. I mean, demonstration is one is UI side, which I'm using JavaScript and React to build this particular UI, and for the backend, uh, I'll be using Java, Spring Boot, and email service from the Spring Boot, and few other topics which I'll be covering when I'll be demonstrating the same. So let us start with the part one, which is the UI side. I'll be creating a React project. For that, I'll be using Create React App. Um, let us go to this particular location. I'll be using npm install. First, I need to install this Create React App. Now, I'll be using Create React App to create the React application. So, say the name like COVID-19 vaccine, and it is, I'll give the name as UI, It will take some time to install. Now it is installed. Let us go inside this project, COVID-19 vaccine UI. Now, uh, there are a few things I need to install more, like Bootstrap for the CSS and for Axios uh, for the REST API call to the backend. Like we'll be pushing the data from UI to backend. So need to install npm install Bootstrap. Another is uh, Axios, and two more components I need to. Something is missing. Yeah, I just gave the wrong name. Bootstrap. I'm sorry for that. Um, Bootstrap is installed, and I need to install Axios. And also need to install React Router DOM. As it is installed, need to install React dropdown select, which will be using dropdown for the age. Let us install this. Once it is done, I'll be opening this particular project in the uh, code editor, which is Visual Studio Code. Fine. So let us open this. So I have imported this project in this particular code editor. Let us start a terminal and need to start the server. Npm start, and once it is now server is restarted at port number 3000 and application is running. So now we need to make the changes and start changing in the code. So I'll not going by each and every line by line. What I'll do, I'll write the code and then I'll give a demo and I'll show you the code. Don't worry, I'll be um, publishing this code on the GitHub. I can give you the link, and from there you can get all the codes. So if you miss something, don't worry about that. So I have done the code changes. What I'll do, I'll just walk through from the code, what are the components I have created. From app.js, if you'll see, I have just deleted everything and added the home component, which I have created here. Imported this home component here. In the home component, I have divided this UI in three parts. Like this is header and footer, and this area will be displayed as a content area. So first talk about the header. So it just has the title and with some styling, nothing else. So let's go back. You can pause the video, and if you want to get the styles, you can copy. I'm going back, and let us quickly go to content, quick to footer. Then we'll come back to content area. In the footer, just I have just added the copy text, my LinkedIn profile, and GitHub link here. So let's go to content area, which has the which is using the main UI, which is having the main UI. And this is the functional component I have created. If you can see constant content area, and I'm using the UD state. It means it is a hook I'm using here. So this is the latest React feature. Um, so I'll come back here later. Let us start from the uh, return part. In the return part, need to first see what are these four uh, but, inputs I have how I have designed. Uh, in I'm using the form input form very element, and in giving the input element for the email. There are some styles, and there is a submit button, which is notify me. I'll come back here, and then pin code. So what is the type, and what is the placeholder, and on change what will happen, on change of email what will happen, and on change of age what will happen. So so I have used this React uh, drop down select, that one dependency I have installed, that this is for this, so that I can get this done from the React. And then it's a submit button for the notify me. And if you can see, I'm using set for each and every variable, which is I have created here. This is the hook I have created for email. For what is email local, I have just given the name. You just reset once I'm clicking on notify me, it should reset the field. Similarly for the pin code local, age, I'm not doing that, because by default I'm taking 18. If someone is not selecting the age and clicking on the notify me, by default I'll be doing the 18 plus. I'll be displaying I'll take this as at 18. um, there are two more variables I have used, which is for the once it is notified, notification is sent to the backend, or if any particular request is there, which you for one particular email ID and for a particular pin code and age group you have already subscribed to, or I mean registered to the backend, it will not allow you to do it again. So yeah, these are the hooks I have created. So let us talk about how it will be. Uh, Once you will enter this email ID, PIN code, and the age, it will be, and hit the notify button to notify this. There will be a so for the conditional rendering, I'm using this D will be rendered based on the is notified and is exist variable. So let us go to display notification, how it is. I'm sorry. So display notification function will check if we have already notified, or if it does exist. So I'll come back here. Once user hit on notify me button, what will happen? It will call the handle submit, and handle submit is just registering for the notification. So in the handle submit register notification function is called as register notification will request do a post request using Axios, whatever the URL you are trying to fetch. So this will be the backend URL. I'll be coming back what is the URL where uh, uh, REST API is published to for the post request. It is published on this particular port, and as it is local in my to my computer, I'm using the 8080 port for the local host. So this URL I'll be using for posting this request to the server. I'll be passing three details: email, pin code, and age. And these three details, if I am my request is successful, I'll set this notification to true, and set if it is successful, it means it is first time, and it is not existing request, so I'll set it to false. And I'll be resetting these two variables, pin code and email, to empty. how to set that? I'm setting it to empty and taking this variable into another email into a local variable, which is another which I'll be using here. If it is unsuccessful, I'm just logging the error, and if error is network error, it means server is not running. So user will get this alert. Otherwise, um, need to set this is notified false because the request did not reach the server. If other than that, any other it is already existing, it will be true, and is notified will be false. And in the display notification, in the conditional rendering, I'll be returning the particular due based on that. So if is notified, it means your request has reached to the server, and it is not an existing another request, I mean duplicate request, I'll be rendering you have successfully registered on this particular email, and the color will be dark blue. And if that is existing request, you will be getting alert like you have already registered on that. So, and other than that, there will be empty div will be returned. And there's a validate pin I have used to validate the pin. If length is not equal to 6 digit, until then uh, notify button is disabled, you can see that. So yeah, this is the overall just simple code I have. And third thing is about this background image, that you have to change this in the CSS file. So create a home.css file, which is by giving these fields, and give the image whatever you want to put in the background. So I have given put in background 2.jpg here, and just give background image colon URL, and give the image name. It will be used as this. So yeah, so this is what an overall picture. Okay, just quickly go through by this UI again. I will, as I have said, that if you have already registered with some email ID for the particular pin code and age, you will be not be registered again. So let me give the email ID and the same pin code I used last time for the age group 18 I have selected. So I'll get the alert in the red color saying that you have already registered on this particular email ID for this particular pin code and age group. So yeah, and pin code, if you give less than 6 or greater than 6, notify button will be disabled. So something like this is disabled. And so yeah, so now second part will be now the backend code. We'll quickly go through the backend code and see how can we what are the technology we'll be using. As of now, it is Java and Spring Boot. So Java and Spring Boot, along with email service from the Spring Boot application. um, so yeah, we'll see. Let us start. To initialize the Spring project, visit start.spring.io and select the language you want. I'll be going with Java and Gradle project. As of now, I'll be taking version 2.4.6, so which is the um, stable version of Spring Boot as of today. If you're watching this video later on, take the appropriate Spring Boot release version. Enter the some metadata for the project you want. Just for the test purpose, you want demo of COVID-19 vaccine backend. Just name it, and the same name will be automatically given taken here. Just enter this description like demo project for vaccine notification, and this will be the package name. And I want my packaging as a jar, and Java version I want Java 8. Add the dependencies, whatever you think of the required. Like I'll be going with, I'll be using a H2 database. I'll be using JPA for persisting my data to database. I'll be sending, it will be a web project, so use Spring Web. It will be, um, I'll be using email services, so Java Mail Sender, add that. One more thing is like Java, which is DevTools. Spring DevTools will help you building the, while developing. It will like things like auto restart the server upon any change. So just add that and hit generate button. It will generate. It will download in the zip file. In this zip, you unzip this file. It is a project. Import this in the code editor. I'll be using IntelliJ here, so let us do that. So I have imported this project, generated project into IntelliJ. Go to the package which you have created. There will be automatically class generated. uh, COVID-19 vaccine backend application. There is a main method. We just run this to start the server. Run this main method. My server. So it is using Tomcat. If you see here, Tomcat started on port 8080, and if you will hit its localhost 8080 port, it will be nothing. There will be nothing here, but just a uh, application has no mapping as of now we have created. So but our server is running on the 8080. So let us start building this. I'll be using, um, basically I'll be creating REST APIs for for submitting, for taking the data from the UI and storing into the database, H2 database, and from the database or from whatever you have entered in the UI, those details then will be sent to the query, which is uh, looking for the slots available that to that particular pin code, and if it is available, it will be sending the email back to whatever email you have subscribed to. So this is the basic workflow we'll be taking care. So I'll be uh, writing the code now, and then we'll resume the video by then I'll go through with the whatever the code I have written, and we'll show you the demo. So let us go to cowin.gov.in again, and we'll see from which, what are the APIs, open APIs, where from where I'll be getting the data, that what are the vaccines available. Then only I can fetch those. Then only I can hit those queries and get the result back and email the content. So go to Open APIs. I'm going to open it here, and these are the open APIs published by this Government of India on API Setu. So I'll be using this get query to get the data, to get the vaccination by pin for upcoming 7 days. So if this is the get query, what will be the URL I'll be using? This, which is, click on try it out, and you will be getting sorry, click on execute, and you will get this get this URL, which is setting the pin code. By default it is taking 110001 and date of 31st of March 2021. If you will change this to your current date and hit the desired pin code, you'll get um, the JSON back. So what I'll be doing is, I'll be doing this here. This is my here. This is the URL I have copied, same URL, and I'm just changing the pin code to this and date of as of today, and hit enter. We'll get the response. This is the response I have received back uh, from my get query. So need to um, handle this in our code. What are the centers available? So there are two centers. There are three center IDs. Four, five. So one, two, three, four, five. Five centers are there. One is what is the center? What are the center details? One is center ID. What is the name? What is the address? And what is the pin code and all? And then it will be each center will be having multiple sessions. So this is session inside these centers, and sessions are having um, 1 2 3 4 session IDs are there. So if you go to that any particular session, there will be a session ID and will be the available capacity for that particular, for which particular age limit, and what will be the vaccine name on which date it is available, and what is the dose 1 and dose 2 availability. Similarly for other sessions as well. So this JSON uh, I'll be getting back. Then need to filter the desired or required uh, details, like what date, what is the capacity available for what limit, and which vaccine, and what is the availability for dose 1 and 2, and at what center. I'll be sending these details via email. So this is what and also in the code side, in the backend side, I need to map this whole JSON to an entity. So need to create that. Another, as I said, I'll be sending the email. So there is one thing you have to um, do. Whatever the I'll be using Gmail. So to send the Gmail out from outside this, like some from your code, you need to uh, enable the less secure access. And you can do that? Visit the your Gmail page where all the and click on the settings, your icon where your photo is, and click on manage apps, click on security, and come back. Scroll down, there will be a less secure app access. Turn on the access, click on this, and just allow this. So if you allow this, now you can send the email using this email ID, whatever you want, and otherwise it will not allow you. So another thing, as meanwhile I have done the code changes, and I'll do one thing. I'll walk through from each and every whatever I've done. That as of now, um, I'll start from application under properties. You need to configure this H2 database and URL, and what will be the JPA settings, like what on upon what will be the URL for what will be the behavior once you'll restart the start the server. Also, you need to specify the uh, email username and password. As of now, I have um, just made it a star. Whatever the desired email ID and password you have, you need to provide the email here and password here, which we'll be using later on to send the email. So these are the configurations setups I have just talked about. Now I'll first look into the entities whatever I have created. So I'll start by email entity. So email needs two address, subject, and body. So just create three private variables and getters and setters for that. Then talk about input parameters. What are the input parameters? What are the details we need from the user? Email, pin code, and age. And as this will be my so input parameter will also be an table. A table will be created in the H2 database, and so for that you have to mark this class as a entity. So aggregate entity you need to annotate, and need to create a id. So annotate that as a id underscore id, and that will be automatically generated. So generated value should be an identity, and create an parameterized also as well as default constructor, and also provide a toString method and getters. No need of any setters in this class. So this will be there will be an input parameter table automatically created with all these four columns. Also, if we'll say, I'll start from the lower level session entity. If I'll go back here and show you what is this is a session. So I need to map this to a Java object. So sessions will be having session ID, date, available capacity, minimum age limit, vaccine slots, and dose one and dose two availability. So similarly, I have mapped this session ID, date, available capacity, one dose one and two, minimum age, vaccine, and slots. So, you can see slots is an array. So it is an array I have string array I have created, and just create the getters for this also. No need of any setters for these entities. So as I said, sessions are inside is the granular level, and centers are having the sessions. So need to create a center. So go to centers entity, and centers entity will be having like center id till uh, center id name, address, same state name and district name and block name, pin code, latitude, what is the longitude, from which time to which time it is open, right? What is the fee type? It is free or from is it paid? And thus and enter the session entity object as an array, because one center id having multiple sessions. And also, if you can see here, center is also not a root is something uh, uh, because there are many centers available. So need to create another. I have just named it vaccine slot response entity. It doesn't need any name. There is no response, but I'll be mapping all the centers. It is a centers array, centers entity array I have created here, and just a getter for that. So these are the entities I have created for my this project. And what are the services and repositories and controllers I have created, that I'll start with. So first start with notify controller, which is this is the controller which I have created. And notify controller, you need to annotate this with annotation called at the rate rest controller. So this class will be acted as a controller here. And what is this cross origin platform? As my UI is running on 3000 port, and UI will be requesting the backend is interacting with the backend on sorry backend, and backend is interacting with the uh, port number 3000, which is on which where my UI is running now. And these are the two services I have created. I'll come back here. You just focus on this. What is this I have created? Response. This is a get mapping I have created for just a welcome, where if you'll hit the localhost 8080 port, what the response you'll be getting. So you'll be just getting the welcome to notifier of COVID-19 slot. So just hit. I think my server is not running. Let me start that. So my once my server will be started, I'll hit the localhost 8080 here. So my you then with that you can get to know that okay, my server is started. Here if I refresh this, I'm getting the welcome to notifier of COVID vaccine slots, which is here, right? And if I will talk about what are the uh, other mappings I have created. So from UI, which is our old UI, if you remember from our previous lesson, once user is clicking on notify me, all these details are getting persisted to the database. How it is getting persisted? Once Axios post request is getting triggered from the UI side. So if you remember, there was a localhost 8080 slash notify URL I have hard coded. So this is the slash notify. Localhost 8080 is the default one. Slash notify. It will be a post mapping as from Axios. I have done the post request. So slash notify will be having will be taking as request body, which is input parameter. What are the input parameters I have created, which is having email, pin code, and age group. So if my input parameter is not null, then only I will should proceed. So if I'll check here, if it is not null, then I'll come inside, and what are the input services, and I have to create it for that. Let us go inside this. So there is an input parameter service I have to create. Let us go inside this. What I have done here is um this is another class input parameter service which I have to annotate with the @service. So this class should act as a service by annotating this particular annotation. Um, need to create an input repository. If you remember, I have used JPA. I have added JPA as a dependency. So create the input repository first. What is the input repository? This is the format of this. Whatever the repository you want to name, just name it. Extend this with the JPA repository and input the and give the class name which you have created. So for the input parameter we have created, we are going to. I said input parameter is a class will be which will be uh, sorry, input parameter will be a table created in the database. So so you need to give the input parameter here, and the long is a ID which is taking. So if you just give this, JPA will take care of all these CRUD operations. So if you come here, see what are the JPA repositories. Default methods are provided like find all, find by ID, and also if you'll here see that all the CRUD operations like put, post, and read and delete, all the operations can be performed here. I'll go back and I'll go back to input parameter service here. You just need to auto wire the repository which you have created, which is input repository. So I just created this variable and auto wired this. So all these values I'll be getting here. So all values will be auto wired to me. Then I have created uh, one method, create new input. Means whatever the input I have got from the UI need to store to the database. So whatever the input parameter object I have got, I'll be using input repository dot save. Even though in the input repository I have not created any save method here, it is by default being used from the CRUD repository, which is an interface which is already taken care by JPA repository. So we are not going to write the queries like okay, insert into this and saved where input parameter is this. So no need to write any query here. JPA will take care of this. So create repository will, whatever the input you have provided, it will store in the database. And I'm checking also if you have already entered the database with the same details. You want to try to enter again whatever the details you will get. First I'm going to check find by email and pin code and age. I'm entering all these three details, and in this method I have created explicitly, not implemented, just given a signature. This is a standard definition provided by JPA. Just need to enter by find by whatever the name you want to give. So whatever the name basically you have in the input parameter class, input parameter, if you'll see, I have given email, pin code and age. Similarly, go back, just give the name, find by email, and is the mandatory here, pin code and age. So this is then JPA will understand, okay, you want to find something in the database by passing these three variables. So go back. If I'll get anything here, it means there is already a record available here. I'll return true. Otherwise, it will be a false. So these are the two methods I have created. Also, there's an find all method. Even though I'm not using it, I created this method, and I'm just saying find all, and JPA will return me all the columns available in the input repository table. So as you are aware that input parameter service, I just go walk through so that you can get the what are the methods I have created in this class. Now, as I have said that in the notify controller, input parameter services I have auto-wired. Similarly, uh, I need to create another service which is notify slot service, which is I have created here. What it is doing, it is not um, any JPA. I'll not be doing any JPA interaction here, but I have annotated this as a service because I want this as a service here. Uh, just whatever you see, if you can see, this is the username and the password of email whatever you have provided. So it will read from the application properties file, username and password, and two pin is another variable I have created. We'll see for that. Basically, this is the main service where we are checking for the available slots and sending the email. Correct. So here there is a method I have created, get result, which is returning a completable future. What is this? Let us start. Let us go back and start from notify controller here. As I said, there are two services I have created. I'll talk about this service later, but I am importing. I am using this service and as an auto wired here, and in the notify slash. First, I'll check if whatever the input I have user has provided, if it is not null, I'll check if it is already existing. If it is already existing, I will uh, return the response saying that okay, you have already subscribed on this, and just return the conflict here. Otherwise, if it is a new entry, I will call the uh, create input, create new input method, which is available in the input parameter service. My uh, object IP input parameter object, which is IP I have created here. It will save in the database. Come back. Once it is populated with a database, same input parameter object I'll be taking and uh, passing this to a method, which is get result I have created in the notify slot service. Here I'm using a completable feature. What is this? It is actually uh, uh, it will execute my this code in another thread where my main thread will not be blocked. What is the main thread? My main thread is just checking of creating the entry in the database, and it is expecting a response on that, right? Otherwise, if I'll not do this, everything will be done by my main thread, and it will not it will take much time, lot of time to return that. So better to hand over this task to another thread, and once the response is back, it will give the result. So as of now, whatever the input user is providing, first I am saving into the database, and then I'm calling get result by passing all these three details. So what I'll be doing here, let us go inside. So I'm just so you'll be seeing so many sysouts here. I have just for the debugging purpose I have added, but it is not recommended. You should not never use this sysouts in your code. So uh, as I need to send the email, I need to create the headers. So I need to set the header, HTTP header, create an HTTP header object, set what are the methods you are accepting. So application JSON you need to provide, media type as application JSON, and header dot add. You need to add the user uh, agent, which is this as of now I have created. If you can copy this, I mean if you use the same, if it is working for you, otherwise you need to check for the headers, user agent I mean. Then pass this header to entity, create the entity, just name this as a parameter key, and header will be the value. And whatever the entity you have created, you need to pass this to another method, which is get slot. Before that, you need to create the URL, because every day you'll be changing the dates. So I have formatted the date and the pin code, whatever user has entered, take that as a pin code, and formatted date method go to this method. And I'll be using simple date format to format this as a on this format. And I'll be taking new date, so which will provide me the current date, and format into this format, and I'll be getting the current date. So this will create my URL. Once you'll get the URL, once you'll get the entity, whatever the email you have user has entered, and the age user has entered, go to get slot. Now after taking these four as an input, I'm creating a thread runnable. I'm using Java 8 feature, so Lambda expression I'm using instead of creating new runnable and creating the run method, overriding the run method. I mean, um, there is a variable I have created is email sent. So why? What is the uh, idea behind this is email sent is, if I'm sorry, if user has looked for subscribe for particular pin code, and if suppose there are many slots available. As of now, my this query is I think it is running over every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes, if user is checking, and if centers having the doses available, I'm sending the email. But if I'll not do this, user will be getting notified every 5 minutes. So I'm checking that if user has got notification already once, so I'll be waiting at least 3 hours to get him notify again. I mean, I'll be sending the email again. Okay, I'll get the details. What are the those in below. Create a while loop. Uh, Create a REST template. What is this REST template? I'll be using to call the URL whatever we have defined, and what will be the query will be the get query. So see here, it is a get query by passing this URL. So call REST template.exchange URL, and what is the type of the request, which is get request, entity whatever you have passed as an input, and it's just a response how you want a response. I just want as a plain string. So what are the string response you will be getting? Basically, this is the response, this JSON as a response. So this JSON as a response I'm taking as a string, and then mapping this to a whatever the entities we have created. These are the entities I have created, so I'll be mapping this. So these are the three variables I have created. What is the minimum age, available dose for 1 and 2. So if my response is not null, it means I have something in the response, and uh, I'll get response from get body. I'll be getting the value, which is whole string. And what is the type you're expecting it, that which is a vaccine slot response entity. What is this, which is here? um, it is a parent entity which is having all the centers, and all the centers are having all the session entities. So go back. I'll read this, all the centers from the parent object, parent entity, which is vaccine slots response entity. I'll be getting the centers. So once I'll get the centers, I'll need to look into the centers. What are the sessions available? Before that, I have just created an email entity and set the to address whatever the email user has input. Set the subject, which is vaccine slots available at pin code and whatever the pin code user has entered. And just I'm just sys outing the whatever the URL is my correct or not. So is available, is I mean is vaccine available, and creating a string builder to append whatever the if any centers are having the um, vaccine slots. So yeah, if centers are not null, if means if you have got the centers available, go inside this, check the each center entity, and each center should be having sessions. So if session is if there is any session available, and so what is the minimum age, and what is the available dose, what is the available dose one, I mean one two, get that. And if minimum age is equal to whatever age user is has subscribed to, if it is 18 plus or 45 plus, if it is there, then go inside and this is just a sysout I have added for which session ID and all, and go inside this. And if available dose is greater than 0, if is there any at least single dose available, I should be getting a notification on that. So I'll make this variable as a true, whatever is variable I have created. Then whatever the string builder I have created, I'll be appending this. What are the vaccines available, what is the age for that, what is the total number of capacity of the vaccines, and what is the dose 1 and dose 2 capacity, also at which particular um, uh, location, or you say the name of the center where the vaccine is getting available, and for what particular date. So if it is there, I'll get my string builder available. And if it is there another session, similarly it will keep adding in the string builder. And once all the sessions are done, all the centers are done, I'll go out, and if my vaccine is available, I will append this just a URL to book the appointment, and set the body in the email content, whatever the body we have created. Email content, I'll use same entity to send the email. So send email, there is another method is created below. And once email is sent, I'm making this is email sent property to true. What is this? Come down, you'll go to send email method. Send email method has I have created some properties, which is I'm adding SMTP authentication host port, and if TLS enable or not. So put these properties, create the session, and email entity whatever you have and created. Email entity is having two address, means where you want to send the email, subject and body. So session you have to create by passing the username and password. So username and password is taken from the application property file. If you're getting authenticated, create a message, set the from address. Internet from address is the username, where is the email ID you have given. Set the recipient. So message dot recipient, which is the email entity, and to get address, so where you want to add the email, send the email, I mean. Set the subject, set the content, and and the date when it is getting sent. Also to the create a mime body part, and set the whatever the entity you have created, get the body of that and set in the mime body part, and add that body mime body part message body part to multi-part. So once the multi-part is available, also you can, if you want to attach any attachment, here I have just taken the example of image available at my this particular email image.jpg I have added. So you can attach that, and attach that and in the multi-part also, and multi-part also should be sent into the message, which is what is the message you have created initially, where you have set the from, recipient, subject, content, date, and all. Once message is created, you need to send this via transport.send method, and once it is sent, I will just sysouting the email sent. So once it is sent, my uh, each email sent will be become true. If it is true, I will. Uh, if it is true, my thread, whatever you have created, it is getting started here in the down thread dot start. So if email is got sent for that particular input, I'll be waiting. It is wait for 3 hours. Otherwise, every 5 minutes, user my thread will be keep on checking that. So this is the code. I agree. This is for each and every input. You are creating a new thread. Here you can, for the what better you can do is use the executor service from for better management of the threads. And but it is as it was just for my purpose. Just I wanted to run locally. I have done that. So if you want to achieve this, you better use the email executor service for the for handling the threads created. So so this is it. I mean, what where we have started is we have created the entities. I'll summarize. If I'll summarize, I have just created the entities, created the controller. Controller needs I have created two controllers. One is get and one post. Get is just a welcome controller, um, to just check that my server is running or not, and post request on slash notify, it will create the whatever the user has input entered in the UI. That same I'll save to the database, and uh, request for the and request to the my service notify slot service, which will return me the if slots are available, it will send an email. Why I'm persisting the data here? If you say if you are not using it here, I'm just taking that what are the inputs I have created. If I'll not store into a database, I'll not be knowing that okay, what I have subscribed to, and if have already subscribed to that particular service or not. And to later on to extend this, I can use this database to if you use the executor service and all, if you correct this code, you can use this whatever you have in the database, and start looking for those um, columns, whatever the rows you have in the database. You can you can check against those entries and check if slots are available. You can send the email. So if you want to show see how to check the h2 database, I can show you. Go to localhost 8080 slash h2 console, and just give the click on connect. I mean, you have to enter this DB name, just whatever notify fire DB you have given in the application under properties. You have to give the same name and hit on connect. Once you will hit on the connect, what as I said, input parameter is the table created, which is having input ID, age, name, and pin code. So as of now, it is empty. Why? Because I have just I started the server, and whatever if you would have seen this earlier, this was also already integrated with my backend. Otherwise, if your backend is not there, this UI will not work. So if you have just watched the earlier video where I have just see the demo, this demo, I have shown this demo. It was with the backend code. So now my backend code and UI code both are running. See, my backend server and UI server both are running. If I'll make any entry, I'm just using my email ID. Fine. I'll use this as a service. I think this has the available slots. Notify me. It is saying that you have registered on this particular email for this particular pin and age. Let us see if this is the same is created in the database or not. Go back and click on run. See, one entry is available: pin code, email, and age. So once it is available in the database, also if you see that logs of this, it should be uh, sending the email. It seems I got the authentication error because I have not provided the correct username and password for my authentication, so my authentication is failed. But if you can see what are the sysouts I have printed. So see here, I have this is one print one sysout started looking for available slots at pin code this, and this is the URL I'm hitting, and it seems there are what is the result, like for this particular age 18 capacity 0, and for this particular age there is 13 as a capacity for this center, and so see here 92, 82, 96, 89. So these are the available slots. So when fetching after when it has iterated all the centers, all the sessions, when it tries to send the email, I got the authentication error. So I'll be adding these details for my username and password. Then I'll re-trigger. So I have entered that. I need to restart my server again. And disadvantage of H2 database is if you will restart a server, it will wipe off the data, whatever you have earlier saved. So if you'll H2 console and run, it will restart and see there's no data, right? Now need to go here. Again, I will publish this. Again, I'm going to enter this. Okay, I have registered. Now, let us check in the database. Okay, there is one entry, and as there are slots available, it is saying that sending email and email is sent. So email is sent. It means I need to check here. I just got 0 minutes back one email saying that these are the slots available. You can go and book your appointment on the co-webinar. So I hope the concept would be clear. To book the appointments, obviously you need to click on sign in, enter the email, sorry, enter the mobile number and get the OTP and schedule accordingly. So this was my one short. I'm not saying I'm not sure if it is short or not. Okay, but yeah, I tried this by myself just for the learning purpose. So I thought of sharing with you guys. If you like this, please let me know your comments. And if you really like this, please like this video and share with the other aspirants and hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much.